What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast. My name is Chad Medved. If you do not know, welcome to my podcast. This is I'll Call You Right Back. I talk to interesting people about what they do and how they got to that point in life, and, that's what we're doing here. First thing is first. If you could, please take a second to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. That is the biggest help that you could do for me, and it only takes a couple seconds. If you enjoy the podcast and, you like what I do, just take a second and put some kind words down for me if you could. Thank you very much in advance. Another thing, very important thing actually, as you all know, Turner Dairy Farms is a good acquaintance of mine. I'm a big, I run and gun for Turner's. Bottom line, I run and gun for Turner's Tea. But March 15th, 2021, they are continuing this crazy run of just all hitters that they have, and they are dropping a brand new limited edition flavored milk, and this time it is chocolate caramel. So, the last milk they had was the Oakmonter flavored milk with Oakmont Bakery. A couple before that, chocolate banana, birthday cake. They got all kinds of incredible stuff. But chocolate caramel is the next on the list. And I'm a big fan of those two flavors. Those tend to be very, very good. And, my plan for this is I might grab one of these and I might use it as put a little bit in the coffee, get a little crazy, put a little bit in my coffee. Usually drink black coffee, but I might just put a little dabble in there and see how that goes. Because what's better than a coffee flavor than chocolate and caramel? And amateur move, leave my ringer on, getting text messages while I'm doing intros. Come on now. But I appreciate Turner's Tea as always. We're doing big things. This year's taken off, and I'm just excited. We just finished the ceiling in the studio. I apologize for the delay in episodes. I skipped last week because I was getting some shit done. I had to finish. I didn't have to do nothing. I don't know how to do shit, but I hired my buddy from high school. His name is Mike Tedesco. He runs a contracting company called Mike Tedesco Contracting, and he is just a friend. I haven't really, we've talked since high school, but you don't see too many people after you graduate high school. But I've been following along with his social media, and the dude is doing incredible construction work. I was blown away by the work that he has done, and he has some of his stuff posted on his Instagram at MikeTed525. But you could check out some work that he's done. But in my basement, I had an exposed ceiling, and it was just it was like an industrial look, and it was cool and everything. But from the construction of the house, there's been a lot of dust trapped in the floorboards. So no matter what, from us dicking around upstairs and running around with the dog and everything, there would be a layer of dust on shit in the basement. So we haven't really got to use it because I'm not trying to sit down here and breathe in some dust. So we wanted to put a drop ceiling in, but I'm not a huge fan of drop ceilings. Every time you think of a drop ceiling, you think the fucking Boston Spectrum roof or something like that, or a ceiling in your high school or some shit. It's just it always felt very, very corny and tacky to me. But I'm an adult now, so I've been trying to divert maybe divert's not the right word, but I've been trying to do research, and I've been trying to see what my options are, the best possible way to do this, to make it look the best. So I hired Mike, talked to Mike about this, and he was like, you could do this, you could do that. So I picked the type of tiles that I would like, and full circle, it looks fucking amazing. I had two of these doctors, white doctor's white, what are they called? Neon lights. fluorescents. That's what they're called. Like fluorescence bars, like 2 fluorescent, like 3-foot bars in my basement. And it just felt very, it felt very garagey kind of. And, it had that like feel to it. But now I got some nice LEDs that are recessed in the ceiling. And, I just feel it's a way more cozy vibe down here. And I'm just excited to be able to like keep progressing with the studio. I wish that I would have had the studio done by now, but I wanted to get the ceiling done before I painted everything and getting every other like detail done. But we're out here working again. Just wanted to say I was sorry to skip last week, but we're back with another great episode. As you guys know from the couple episodes back, I got a dog. I got a dog. We've had her for officially 30 days, and it has been a wild ride. And I wanted to bring my wife on here because, we're trying to get the studio done still. So I wanted to I like talking to a guest. I don't want to always talk by myself. So pulled my wife on here. I always get great comments from everyone whenever I have her on because, we have a good back and forth, I guess. And, I'm very fortunate for that because I love her very much. And she's fun. I'm lucky and I'm fortunate enough to have like a fun relationship with my wife. She's cool enough to want to sit here and bullshit with me on record and, have a bunch of random people listen to it. And I appreciate her for being a good sport. So this week, me and her sit down and we talk about our dog, Nadja. We talk about the recent consultation session with a local trainer. And we talk about, the changes that we're doing to our house and like what we have planned. And, we just kind of catch up on life. It's been moving pretty quick the past, probably, I don't know. I feel like since we moved in December, it's just like everything has just been on fast forward and it's been overwhelming. And, I don't know. I'm trying to catch up with my life right now. And then we throw this dog in and like, you'll hear all about it. I'm overwhelmed as a dog owner. My wife is overwhelmed as a dog owner. It's definitely, it changes your life. But I love it. I got no complaints. I'm just trying to pivot. You know what I mean? Whenever there's a problem, I'm trying to pivot and I'm trying to readjust and I'm trying to execute. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what we talk about this week on the podcast. So without further ado, episode 153 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Antonette Medved, my beautiful wife, and my dog, Nadja.
Telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. Give that a tilt up.
This way?
Yeah. Muppet. Was that good?
Mm-hmm. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Oh, I just caught a glimpse.
Yeah, and as soon as you crack that can of Coke.
All right, so regardless of, maybe it will add to the episode, but this is a big thing, a big talking point that I wanted to talk to you about this week. So
I feel like you're whispering.
Well, I'm waiting for her to go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the devil to sleep.
Yeah.
But, our lives change a lot. We got a dog. We did some updates to the house. And since we got Nadja, we have not talked about it on here. You and I have not talked about it. And
Right, you did the solo episode and I did not join.
yeah, so I'm interested to talk to you about all this stuff and kind of get deep into our new lives. Basically, everything about our lives is different.
It's totally different now.
But so we're in the middle of crate training. Okay.
It's hard. It's a lot.
And Nadja just went down for a nap, and we'll see how it goes.
Are we on day 3 of crate
like,
training?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like good crate training. Saturday, Sunday,
Like today,
Monday.
yesterday and today were probably the hardest. The first day wasn't as hard probably for her because you went to your mom's and let the dogs run around.
Yeah, she was fine, but unpredictable. Mm-hmm. Absolutely unpredictable. But we recently got this dog. We've had her for 1 month tomorrow.
Okay. Yep. No.
Yeah, we got her January 30th. And it's about to be February. There's only 28 days in February.
Yeah. So yeah, we've had her a month.
So I was thinking about this today, and that's crazy, to think about.
It's crazy, even how far we've come in a month with the dog. It's
100%.
like the first day we took her home. It was exactly like what I anticipated. And you and I talked about this before we took her home, but like, it's really, really hard for dogs to be kind of ripped away. Like puppies, like, yeah, they don't remember eventually, but the first few days are very hard of having a dog.
Yeah.
A puppy, because it's literally a brand new being in this world. Like it just was born and
taken away from their
family in like 16 weeks or less,
Yeah, no, she was 10 weeks.
Oh, I thought she was 11 weeks.
Whatever, but it was, that's kind of weird to think about it, like how puppies are just taken away from like their groups of brothers and sisters and their mothers and potentially their fathers. But I don't know. It's like a weird, I don't know. It's just weird kind of. I mean, like, yeah, that's the way it has been for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't really know the psychology behind that. But maybe my thought is that like they're young enough to be able to still be like mendable and like, not like they're probably so young that they forget quickly.
Oh yeah. But also they have no idea where they are now. Like, and taking her home, like she was familiar with the life that she was living.
Yeah.
Now we're taking her out of that. Now we have to earn her trust. She has to understand that like this is the family situation now. Yeah. And that's like a tough concept for a baby to understand. Like she's a baby. Like what did the trainer say?
A different animal.
A different animal as well. And like the trainer said that she was probably like mentally a year and a half to 2 years old.
I felt so dumb asking that question.
No, but that's a good question. Like, because developmentally, they're in a totally different world because they have a different lifespan.
Yeah.
So
right now she's 3 months or 3.5 months.
Right.
And I asked the trainer so let's back this up a little bit. So we got this dog, and obviously with a puppy, they have different characteristics and like they react different. And as I talked about it on here before, Nadja has been a biter, and
like an excited, like a play biter.
Excited, whatever you want to call it. Now I think it's just excitement. Before I was like, oh my God, she's aggressive, but she's a fucking puppy.
Right.
Like we were just talking about, ripped away from her house.
Right.
So it's interesting to think about this a little bit more, but Allie from Biggie's Bullies recommended this lady. Her name is Tina, and she is from Success Just Clicks Dog Training. And excuse me.
I know we're both burping from Diet Coke.
Yeah. That's our what's in the cup today. Some Diet Cokes. Crispy too.
No, very good.
But so this lady from Success Just Clicks, like me and Antonette have been looking for a dog trainer to take Nadja to, just to be able to like, give her the basics of things, right?
Yep.
And I think that you and I have been on the same page from the beginning with that. It's like we're raising a person.
Here's the thing.
Or not a person, but
we're raising an animal.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't know how to communicate with us. So not only are we raising this animal, we have to find a mutual way to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Like she can't tell us that she's got to pee.
Yeah.
We have to figure that out on our own, and how she's going to tell us that. Like, it's just, it's beneficial to go to a trainer to understand those basic things, because the dog that we adopted is not going to be like a little tiny pocket dog that like, if something goes awry, okay, and she's not feeling herself, then we're going to be responsible for whatever happens. And I want her to have a really good foundation, because like, it's not going to be as easy as, oh, throw the puppy in the cage for a minute.
Yeah.
It's going to be more like, no, we have to find a way to settle her down if she's out of pocket, because she's going to be so big.
Yes, absolutely. She has to be able to be under control.
Yeah.
Because
and control herself and act appropriately.
Absolutely. Basic manners. But like a core thing that we wanted was, we believe in like, positive reinforcement. Like, I don't want to put a fucking shock collar on my dog. I don't want my dog to be a fucking soldier. I want my dog to have a personality, but I want her to be able to be a well-mannered dog.
Yeah, definitely.
Where we could take her places and she's not jacking around.
Yeah,
and like
she's not jumping on people,
being
like
a lunatic.
ripping stuff off the table,
and
stuff like that.
I think that's what the goal that everyone would want to accomplish whenever they have a dog. But some people think that they could do that by themselves, and some people absolutely can. But like,
or some people do it wrong and then wonder why the dog turned out not so great.
Yeah, and they blame the dog. But it's like, I just thought it was, we've had dogs my entire life, and we've never had any sort of like trainer.
Yeah.
It's always been like, the same old, like, they shit in the house, like, you shouldn't have did that, like, you know what I mean? And scold them a little bit. Like, my parents never like hit the dogs or anything. They just like would yell sometimes, or
like a rub your nose in it kind of thing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's just like an old way of things to do it.
It is, because it's really not doing anything. Those dogs have like a 2-second attention span.
Yeah,
so
it's like,
you're
how does that
supposed
even
to
happen? Like,
reward them within 2 seconds of whatever action that they did that was good, because
they'll just
whatever
forget about
it. Because same thing for bad. If they do something bad, they're not going to remember that they did that thing bad 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, and it's
so
like,
why yell at them about it? Like, if you find piss in the corner, like, what are you going to do? Yell at her about it? Like, she pissed in the corner 45 minutes ago and we didn't fucking catch it. We're not going to yell at the dog about it.
So if you find piss in the corner.
But seriously, like, that's what happens whenever you have a puppy, your first puppy. Like, this is both of our first puppy, where it's like totally our responsibility. Like,
Absolutely.
our parents aren't stepping in to
and
help us.
It's so interesting to think about that too, because it's like I said, I was raised with dogs. You had a dog the majority of your life, and like I don't know, like I don't necessarily like really remember any sort of like structure.
No,
like,
my mom really didn't give my dog any structure.
Well,
like,
we had like kind of had like structure, but it was like a skewed structure. And I'm not saying that,
like there wasn't a schedule.
But it's weird, because it's like, look at the way that my parents' dogs are. It's like they're fine. Like, they don't like run away.
No, that's also because they're a milder breed.
Absolutely.
Too.
Absolutely. I'm not necessarily comparing them to Nadja. I'm just saying that it's like, some dogs are just like, they kind of have that instinctual, like, kind of calmness about them.
Yeah, some do.
Yeah, some do. But it's like, Nadja is just like sometimes a little bit crazy, and it just escalates, and it's like, or escalates. I said escalade. But we just wanted to like try to like nip that in the bud, and it's like, figure out the right ways for us to be able to respond to it. Because like, if this dog is like coming at your ankles,
because we don't want to make her fearful.
Yeah.
That's why, because we've been watching a new Netflix show called Canine Intervention. The gentleman that trains dogs on that show explains like the reason that dogs react that way is because they're scared, and it's so ingrained in them from being a young puppy and not receiving the right feedback when they're doing something bad.
Yeah.
And then they become fearful. So I'm sorry, am I talking too loud?
No, it's fine.
Then they become fearful and they react negatively and bite and hide and are scared, and you just have to try to work through that with them. Yeah,
exactly. And it's just like, it's so difficult because, we all have the internet now, and we're all just like, we are our own teachers and our own, fake, experts. Anything we get interested in, we just dive online, and it's so fucked up because there's two different sides of all of it. And it's like, you have the the fear-based people who like put them on a shock collar and like, will yank their neck and like that works.
And I don't think that's right for a puppy. Like a puppy is literally learning its bearings in life.
I get it, but I try to be, open-minded.
Okay.
And, not necessarily be open-minded in the way that I want to train her, but like I try to see how people could follow that, because there's a lot of people who believe that that's the way, prong collar and
from when they're puppies or as adults, if there's
all
a
the time
problem?
from the beginning, because it's like you want to treat them from, like a machine from the beginning, like hunting dogs and everything like that. It's so interesting to see like how people structure their dogs' lives. And it's like some people have a soldier as a dog, like this guy on Canine Intervention. Like these dogs are, never have to be on a leash, nothing.
No, but
and
that's because they respond to like crazy hard sounding German
like,
commands.
Yeah, so like
the command for down, I keep saying it in my head because plots. Yeah, they say it like real quick.
So it's like all these like people that have these like fear-based training and everything like that. It's like they train them in German and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know, it just feels very uptight. It does not feel right for me. And that's why I think that I never wanted to gravitate towards that.
On that show, while we're talking about it, that was interesting to me was the guy trains his dogs that come in his doors to play only when he gives the command to play.
Yeah.
Like he'll say break as like they can stop being serious and they can go dick around and do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But like even all the way down to the very second that they're going to start and end play, he's commanding.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I agree with that necessarily, because that's not, I mean, it's not that I disagree with it. It's just not what I want in my family dog.
Absolutely. It's like those dogs have it's almost like that. Like, I don't want her to ever feel like she's not allowed to like go pick up a toy and just start like running around.
No, right.
But
I want her to feel comfortable, like jump up on the couch and hang out, and like
but it's
this
like,
is her house too.
There's a line between good manners and free reign, and it's like that's where I'm trying to figure it out, and that's where I feel that someone who has like a positive reinforcement type of training is, because you eventually like learn the dog's trust. And they put their like faith in you, and then like they want to listen to you, and it's like we could see Nadja
you're protecting them,
absolutely, and we could see improvements all the time.
Oh my god,
with her, but it's just like it's so interesting to like kind of dive down that rabbit hole of like dog training, because we got this dog and it's like every day we're watching videos, and I'm just,
and every video says something different.
Everyone.
It's just like when people have kids, like
exactly.
Every book says something different.
Exactly.
Every, video says something different. You just have to figure it out for yourself and what works best for you and your dog.
Yeah, because every dog is different.
Correct.
And
every owner is different, so you have to figure out what works for you. But
it is like I told Antonette that whenever I first got the dog, I was like, I'm going to train her to do funny stuff in German, so whenever I like give her the she fucking just sits down or rolls over, because it's aggressive, like watching these people online or on the TV and on like the videos online,
because he trains in addition to like dogs that have
protection
behavioral problems.
Dogs.
He does protection
and
dogs.
These dogs are wild, where it's like a crazy like Belgian Malinois, and like one of the people that he had on this show was like professional boxer, and the professional boxer wanted his wife to be able to have like a security dog, and this dog like does sweeps of the house and
and the perimeter of the property, and it can sniff out anything that's not right.
It's just so wild, but like full circle, it's like I could see why people choose to do that, and like I could respect people's choices to want that, but it's like that's just not the way that I want to do it. Like I want to I want to have a different bond with her.
We have the kind of dog.
Yeah, she's kind
of I mean, she's not stupid by any means, but she's
just like free will. Like she has like free will.
She's very independent.
Yeah, it's interesting. And like, we talked about, I skipped last week, but before that we talked about, just the dog and how, like that was the beginning of it. I think we only had her for 2 weeks then. And it's just so interesting, like her personality now compared to what it was then. And, you know, it's still very stressful and like overwhelming at times. And like you have been living a different life than I have because.
Yeah, like the past, like majority of the month that we've had her, like we were trying to sift through all these materials and watch videos and try to figure out like how we're going to make this work for us. But I truly knew that it wasn't really going to settle in until we spoke with a trainer in person and discussed what our problems are.
Now, before we even get to the trainer, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So before we get to the trainer, I was pretty much living like I felt like I was walking on eggshells in my own house.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really have a structure for Nadja. It was just kind of like, well, we'll play when she feels like playing and we'll let her nap when she feels like napping. But I think that came around to bite me in the ass because I wasn't realizing some of the things that the trainer communicated to us, like how tired she must have been. Supposedly, that's where a lot of this like playtime aggression comes from, is because it's wrongfully directed into something that's like it's kind of like having a temper tantrum.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
They're so tired because they've been playing and doing whatever all day, walking around, sniffing, trying to figure things out.
Just learning life.
And they've exhausted themselves, but even though they're so tired, they just don't want to like crash and lay down. So they instead, just like a regular 2 or 3 year old, is going to lash out and cry and kick and scream. And that's pretty much what she was doing with the biting.
Yeah. So like the first month of us, you know, having her, I would
call you at work crying because she was darting for my ankles during my meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, that's
hard.
super overwhelming for you, for sure. I could definitely understand
hard.
that, because even whenever I'm home and like, you know, she'll have an episode, it's just like, Jesus, like I couldn't like get work done like that. But, you know, for that first month, it's so much like uncertainty of us, like, you know, is she being aggressive? Is she, you know, being playful?
Yeah.
Is she learning this? Is she doing this? Like, why is she doing this?
Earn some trust and respect from her in those first few weeks too, because she didn't know us from Adam, you know? So we had to kind of show her our personalities, and we wanted to see hers, and we wanted to see if we would start to develop a bond.
And it's definitely happening.
It is, and I think that it's even going to be better now that we've implemented some structure.
Yeah, because for the first couple weeks, she definitely felt like she could walk all over us. Like, definitely just thought this was her home completely, and like she was like an equal of everything. And that kind of sounds like fucked up to say like that, but it's just like she didn't have any like real respect.
She needs a leader.
Yeah, she didn't have like a leader.
Leadership.
Yeah. So, you know, we went to Tina at Success Just Clicks, and I'm going to try to get her on the podcast here. But obviously with COVID, shit is just weird. You know, me and Antonette are doing it because we live together. But, you know, so the whole process of this training was we hit this lady up, and like I said, Allie from Biggie's Bullies recommended her. And if you look at like her accolades, it's like, you know, she has a degree in psychology, she has a minor in something else I can't remember, and then she has all these, you know, accolades about dogs, dog training, dog psychology, like scent work, all this shit. And I don't know what any of it means, but it looks good. But then I look at all of her like reviews, and I look at like the things that she offers, and then I dive into her website, because obviously like dog training, nothing is cheap. You get what you pay for. So I do my research and I look through it, and before you even can get involved with this lady, like if you want like a personal consultation, you have to fill out like a 45-minute survey that is so like in depth and like very thorough, and like you describe like every bit of your dog. And it's like, as someone who is a customer looking for a service, like that made me feel like I felt really good about it, because it's like
felt like they were really trying to understand you and your dog.
Absolutely. And like that felt so
because
important.
how else can they get to the root cause of the problem?
Yeah,
or problems, like, whatever you're working with, unless they can really understand how your dog behaves and how
Absolutely.
you behave with your dog.
So we had a
And there was
consultation.
even, an extensive, go ahead, about the consultation.
Well, we had this consultation that's like 2 hours, and you go to this lady's training facility, and from the beginning of walking in there to the end, we felt like the whole thing was almost like a test, because you walk in and then there's like 2 different piles of toys on the ground, and this lady was just very, very like analytical about like her observations about Nadja, and like asking us questions, and
She was observing Nadja from the
100%.
second that she got out of the car.
yeah, 100%.
Which is, I mean, that means that she really cares. Like, she wants to see how that dog is acting just through regular day-to-day stuff, because she's a puppy, and how else can she give us advice if she's not watching the dog do all these things? Like, whenever we got out of the car, we walked around the parking lot, and then we brought her into the building, and Nadja was very excited to see her. Nadja loves people, loves getting pet and trying to sniff and find out, who is walking up the street and stuff like that. But she was jumping on the trainer, and the trainer was like, "We don't pet jumping puppies here."
Yeah, and it's like that right there from the beginning. I was like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, this lady means business.
Yep.
And like, because who could turn down a pet from a cute puppy?
Yeah.
And it's like, if a
But
cute puppy.
that's the thing, though. She's
I
not
know.
turning down the
I
pet.
know.
She's trying to
I
instill
know.
the right behaviors
And
in the
it's
pet.
like, it's so like, it was so like, because obviously you read all this shit online, and you could go as deep as you want, and you read one thing from another, and there's so much shit that you could pull data from. You don't know what's right. So it's like you got some idiot on YouTube that's all goofy trying to teach you some way, and then another dude here, and you don't really know like what to believe. But
Right.
like, I know that this lady knows her shit, and I
Oh,
knew that from the first like 5 minutes of me being there, that this lady was going to have some good answers for us. So,
Oh, yeah.
like,
And she had a lot of good questions
insane,
for us.
insane. She was asking us things that were like really like very.
We had to think about. Like, I didn't even think about. She was like, "Well, what does like a regular day look like for Nadja when she wakes up to when she goes to bed?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "It's kind of a free for all."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, no, we got to put the kibosh on that and get a crate structure in for her," and that was kind of like a humbling moment for me for a second, because I was like, I really am letting this dog just run my house. And guess what? Like, she joined this family, not the other way around.
Yeah, and
you
it's
know?
not like and like her basis of training is not like anything being mean.
No,
or
not
she
at
doesn't
all.
yell or do anything.
No,
it's
she just uses positive reinforcement.
but it's all structure based.
Yeah.
Like it's and it's so wild
not
because
boot camp structure.
No. But it's like, you need to have a nap at some point. So put them in the crate. And like, if they're crying, like you got to deal with it a little bit and like kind of give that tough love, because
Yeah.
that was my biggest flaw.
It's
excuse me.
hard. I know. We're drinking this Diet Coke and we're just burping.
Terrible.
All the
I
bubbles.
apologize. But it's like we have this dog and it's like, you have this structure that you want to abide by, but it's like I put her in the crate and I hear her crying and like, she only freaks out for a couple minutes, but it's like, some days she goes right in there and just falls right asleep. And then some days she fucking has a temper tantrum. And it gives me anxiety because it's like, you want to do it right. So if you put her in there and she's freaking out for a little bit and then you take her out, she's going to know that if she's fucking yelping and whining,
Right.
that we'll just pull her out. So you just have to like kind of work through that. And that's been working. Like we see a
you
progress.
have to outsmart her pretty much. Like I definitely knew she was gonna cry and stuff whenever we first started it, but we've been reacting so much to like the biting
Yeah.
that we have to start being more proactive and getting in front of it,
Yeah.
because it really seems to happen when she's just about to get into that temper tantrum stage.
Yeah. And it's like, being new.
Would you rather work it out in the crate, or would you rather get your ankles charged at?
Well, that,
every
but it's
single
like
day?
being like a new dog owner. It's like, we all had our own experiences with
Yeah.
our dogs growing up, but it's like being a new dog owner and like having Nadja like bite at me is not something that I've ever dealt with my parents' dogs.
Yeah.
So like, I never had to really worry about it. And like in the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm just going to pull back and say no. But it's like,
but that's almost egging her on more because she's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm getting a response from this and I'm not getting hit or bit back or
yeah,
hurt,
so it's tug of war.
Yeah.
And and then there's other
With your
times,
sleeve or your pant leg.
yeah, and it's like there was other
or your
times
bare skin.
we're like trying to figure out how to like to like completely change the course of like the violence, not really violence, but change the course of the teeth. And it's just like you don't want to do it wrong, so it's like I don't want to like yell at her, I don't want to like try to fucking I'm not gonna like hit her or nothing like that. So it's like I
so
just
what's
want
the best way for her to work it
Yeah,
out?
what
Sit
is-
in her crate and take a nap.
I
That's
know,
what
but
it
it's
is.
like talking to that dog trainer,
Yeah.
it gives me peace of mind because it was 2 hours of us just being able to ask the dumbest questions. Like one of the questions that I asked, like Antonette said, it was like, Nadja's like 3.5 months. Like how old would she be in human years? And I was like, that's probably a dumb question. And then the lady had an answer. And it's like every answer that this lady gave us was like very, very thought out. Like she took a second. You could see that she was thinking. And I just really enjoyed, talking to her.
I could tell she was like digesting what we were telling her.
Absolutely. Absolutely she was. And she did. She had great answers. And, the way that she explained things was very like, just easy to consume. And I don't know. I mean, me and Antonette signed Nadja up for lessons that start in like a little bit over a month. Just basic.
Are they 10 weeks of lessons?
I think 8 or 7.
Eight.
7 classes. But we were just keeping working at it.
Yeah.
This is
because I think it's fair to her too to have that structure because
Absolutely.
it's going to make her a better adult dog to work through these problems with her now because why overlook them and have to deal with the nipping and the attitude and stuff
Plus,
for the rest of this is going to be our dog for the next like hopefully 15 years. Like we have to do right by her now.
And it's like, I also want a dog that, I'm going to be able to walk without being a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Jumping around, going after shit. And it's like Nadja has like kind of a
little short attention span when
Yeah.
it comes to outside.
Yes.
But also she's a baby.
That's what I mean.
It's,
And
it's hard.
That's another thing. And just to get validation from this trainer and like have her explain like, yeah, like this is completely fine. This should be happening right now. Like imagine, a baby.
She was like, a concern that we expressed to the trainer was that we don't get any focus from the dog outside. We can get her focus inside of the house when there's really no distractions. But, she just reassured us that that's totally normal. She's a literal baby. She doesn't care about you when you're standing outside with her. She cares about all the grass and all the leaves blowing
And
around.
all the smells.
All the smells. It's a very overwhelming atmosphere to be in whenever you don't know anything about the world. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to take some time to get her focus.
And it's
And she said that'll come with time.
Yeah. So it's like, as far as like her manners and her learning, that's definitely improving. I thought the training thing was definitely a positive experience.
Me too.
And
I'm looking forward to the classes.
I know, but it's just like, I really love just like everything that has to do with, being the dog. Like, I love going to the pet store and buying her things and her loving it and like watching her enjoy things that are, different. Like I bought her that ostrich bone. So
It's really fun watching her try new things because like you can see her eyes getting really big whenever she really loves it.
Oh, yeah.
She loves chicken. Like chicken I think is her favorite. I think she likes ground meat too, but I think chicken's like her favorite treat.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Her eyes go wild.
They do.
It's cute.
And it's wild to see her like,
Develop.
her development mentally, physically. Like she looks big as hell now. But it's like this ostrich bone. I thought that this was cool though. Like I was reading about these bones because you read about dog bones and like if you give a dog a bone, they could splinter and that could be terrible for the dogs. And I'm obviously like I just worry. I'm a worry
Yeah.
wart. And especially with her, it's like a dog can't say nothing to you. That's another thing that I got to put on my list. Me and you got to watch YouTube videos on how to do CPR on a dog and how to get something out of their throat if they're choking.
Oh, I've had to do that for Pepper. You have to do make a hook with your finger and stick it down in there and try to hook it back out, whatever it is. Yeah.
But I just want to watch a video on that.
Yeah. I would like to learn a little bit about CPR, and I would like to also understand some warning signs if the dog is not feeling well. Because other than her throwing up and oh, the dog threw up, I don't know that she's not feeling well. You might, see some type of behavior in her that you haven't seen before, and how do you detect what it is?
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It's just we're learning a different language basically, and it's interesting to think about that. But
don't you feel like a whole different person since you got a dog? Can you even think of anything else other than your dog?
Brand new bitch.
I feel like she's giving us a lot of structure, and this is a big learning experience for us too, not just the dog.
1,000,000% the dog changed my world.
Yeah.
100,000,000%. I don't really I can't think about other things. I think about her. I think about what she's doing. I text you all day.
Yeah,
while
when you're at work. Yeah, was
how
today?
is she
I feel
doing?
like today was probably hard. You restrained yourself a lot.
I know, because I just want pictures of her all day, what she's doing, and I don't know. I like it, and I find myself, I was never someone who really cared about Facebook, but there's a couple groups on Facebook that I'm very, very, I'm active in now.
Yeah.
And I
our Rescues alumni page and Pittsburgh Doodles.
Yeah, and then
There's
a canine enrichment page, which is
canine enrichment.
basically just ways to feed your dog and stimulate your dog's mind, and there's all kinds of cool things on there, and that's where I learned about the ostrich bones. And so ostrich bones. If you have a dog, ostrich bones are different than regular beef bones, because if you cook a beef bone and you give it to a dog, some people have experienced, those bones splintering and being bad for a dog. And it's common misconception, or some people, not common misconception, but it's not common knowledge that everyone knows that.
Right.
So people were like, oh, I'll give him a fucking steak bone.
No.
Yeah. And
No.
you're like, yeah, well, it's going to pierce his fucking throat. But these ostrich bones, because they're from a big bird, they have a honeycomb infrastructure. So whenever dogs
Which
are
I've never heard of.
Me either, really. But it makes sense because birds are light. They got to have
their bone density is
it's just weird to think
lighter.
about.
Yeah.
Because whenever I read that, I was like, what the fuck? And then, because this bone looks like a human's leg bone. It's a fucking ostrich.
It does. It looks like a shin bone or something of a kid.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous.
Absolutely huge, like a femur. And it's light though. It's not super heavy, but these bones, the dogs can chew on them because that honeycomb structure, if they bite it, it crunches rather than splinters. And these bones that I got come from South Africa, and
Think more like cheese curl. Crunchy.
Exactly.
Yeah, light and airy inside. And
instead of being thick and
even though that's not the same texture, but
still,
yeah,
but that's
it's
a
still
good way to
texture.
that's still a good way to describe it. But these dogs could bite on it, but these bones that I have a residual flesh on them, and it's kind of gross, but they air dry them, and
it's like a jerky
basically.
Yeah.
And I gave it to Nadja, and she fucking lost her mind. 50 minutes in the beginning.
Oh, her whole body was shaking because she was just so into it, just biting on this thing,
losing her mind.
She was biting on it for a while,
a good bit of time.
Yeah.
But it's Antonette has been in the car with Nadja, and I've been in the pet store. I'm gonna just run in, and I just get lost in there for an hour.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't see you for about 40 minutes anytime you go into the pet store.
Yeah, well, I like those people, and I like talking to them, and I like looking at all the different stuff.
I think they like you too, and that place is super cool.
Yeah, Leonie's in McMurray. If anyone is a pet owner and out this way, I believe they have one in Wexford too. But it's basically a bougie pet store. There's also Pedagogy. They have one in Greensburg and one down in Pittsburgh. That's what Allie from Biggie's Bully. She works there and is a part owner there. But these pet places are like, it ain't a fucking dollar store rawhide. These are things that are put in there.
It's a nice pet store, and I don't think the prices are outrageous. I think they're very reasonable. It's your family member.
Exactly.
People who are shitty that want to spend buy value dog food that's not great quality.
Dollar store.
Why would you do that to your family member? Would you do that to your kid?
Yeah, so
give them trash to eat? I wouldn't do that. So why would I give my dog garbage?
These bougie pet stores is basically like a Whole Foods for dogs.
Yeah.
And
they're nice.
Like Leonie's, the other day I came out of there with 2 duck hearts and a duck trachea. And they were just in this big plastic bin. They were dried duck hearts and they were the size of a golf ball.
And she sucked it down in seconds.
She lost her mind. And you're just like, God, that's kind of weird to think about. But, it's... I don't know.
Good for them.
It's so good for them, and it's so fun to give them
something that they that they're gonna love.
It's so fun to give them a good treat because they get a wiggle butt.
Oh, like her treat last night.
Oh my God, she loves it.
It was her first frozen yogurt.
Yeah, we went to frozen yogurt and we got her a little swirl of frozen yogurt, just probably the size
maybe
of a king size Tootsie Roll.
Yeah, something little.
A couple blueberries in there, and she was just all about it.
She licked the bottom of the cup and then flipped it over and tried to lick the bottom from underneath to see if any more ice cream would come out.
Yeah, and I mean it's just it's very rewarding to be a dog owner. I feel like I'm in some sort of club now, and it's just I bitch about people posting their weird looking kids on Facebook all day, every day. So I've just been drowning people in cute pictures of a dog. And, she's gorgeous. So you guys are lucky, honestly.
I mean, yeah, you're real lucky because
she's
today,
a good looking dog.
When they were finishing up the basement, the gentleman who came for the HVAC literally asked to take her picture because how pretty she is. So that was really cute.
And it's just I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm just loving being
fun.
a dog owner.
Because people love dogs.
Everybody
loves a dog.
People love dogs. And
so
it's just,
make your dog be a good dog for people to love.
Exactly. And
That's
it's nice to have, it's nice to be able to do nice things for your dog and not skimp on it. I find myself looking at leashes and collars.
They have such a short life.
I know. And it's just I get teary eyed.
Yeah.
Everything she does, it's almost like I get misty eyed.
Why wouldn't you rather them be happy than be miserable and
100%.
Fearful? And don't you want your dog to have a good life?
100%. It's incredible. But if anyone wants me to, if you got a dog and you're interested in it, you want me to invite you to these Facebook pages or tell you what they are, just let me know and I'll put you into touch with them. But I don't know. We have that's been such a huge part of our life, and another part of our life that we've been doing is trying to get this house ready. And downstairs we have someone's awake from her nap. Just let it ride a little bit.
I am.
Oh, she's laying down again. Okay. Just a quick wake up. Nadja sleepwalks. She'll be dead asleep. She'll get up, walk, and just fall on the ground like she's dead.
She just sounds like she's plopping. It's loud as hell.
Cute though. But so we've been getting this house worked up. We're upstairs in the kitchen / main room doing this one because they just finished the drop ceiling downstairs in the basement, which is huge. Pumped about it. The studio needs a coat of paint and then just a quick, Swiffer and vacuum. And, we're cooking with gas down there. And we could finally, use that basement. And I'm pumped about that. For the last, how long have we been living here? 3 months?
Yep, since January.
We've been fucking sitting in IKEA chairs and
and they hurt. And our dining room table chairs hurt. We're just riding the struggle bus right now because live-in furniture is holding our couch hostage. Well, I guess their manufacturer is.
The manufacturer, to be fair. So,
but
when did we go?
We went the day after Christmas.
Day after Christmas.
When we purchased a couch and a chair.
Day
right,
after
for the living
Christmas,
room.
we bought a couch and a chair. Okay, so here's the thing. Whenever we were there, we were buying drawers too. So like we went and we found this set of drawers and we were like, we want these drawers, couch, and this chair. And this guy was like, if you want them drawers, it ain't going to be here till at least April. So that's 4 months. So we were like, ain't.
Yeah.
And
because we had nowhere to put our clothes.
Nowhere
we had
to
a
put
closet,
our clothes.
but we needed a drawer.
We
so
ended up finding one in the clearance back there. That's neither here nor there. But we bought this chair, cozy as fuck, bought a couch, cozy as fuck. They were like, oh, your projected date to get these is February 15th. So a month and a half from when we ordered it. A month and a little bit more than a half. So that's fine. We were like, that's fine. You've been hearing all these stories about furniture places being back ordered and how they take forever. And I was like, whatever. We got to do what we got to do. Mm-hmm. February 15th rolls around. No news. So we call, and then the guy was like, oh, well, they're not in yet. It's looking projected for March 5th or March 1st. And then what's today? March 1st. They said call back March 1st. I call this guy today, and I say,
this is my favorite.
This guy, he deserves an award. So he gets on the phone, and I call this guy, and I go, hey, man, I'm looking for my status on my furniture order. And he goes, okay. He goes, what's the name? I tell him my name, and then he goes, he goes, see, you got a chair here. And I said, yeah, a chair, but we also have a couch that's being ordered. And he was like, he was like, yeah. He was like, well, I told him, I was like, oh, it's supposed to be, they told us to call March 1st. And he was like, yeah. He was like, well, it's saying mid-March for delivery. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, sorry about that. And I was like, what? I was like, what is?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, I was like, so what is the deal? Like, it's already been delayed. And he was like, well, man, to be honest, the manufacturer is the one that puts these dates out, and they kind of just change on our system, and we really don't know too much. That's the only projected date that I could give you. And I was like, whatever, I'll allow that, because this dude doesn't know what's going on.
No.
He was just a regular dude answering questions.
Yeah.
So
working from his living room, probably.
Just trying to get through the day without getting yelled at.
I get it.
So, so I get it. God bless him. So I ask him, and I go, so dude, like, what's the point, or what's like, how do I know that this isn't just going to happen again and the date's just going to get pushed back another month? And this guy says to me, you just got to have faith. And I died. I said, what is keeping it from happening again? And he said, dead serious, he said, just got to have faith. And I said, wow. I said, I appreciate you, man. And I hung up the phone. Because what can I do besides that? I can't do nothing after.
Hey, what could he do? That's
Nothing.
why he said that.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. He just said, you got to have faith. And that was enough for me. So I couldn't be mad at that. But we don't have a fucking couch. We're still sitting on wooden chairs.
But the upswing is now that our basement is finished, we did have our couch from our apartment in the basement. So now we can sit on our couch from the apartment.
Nice as fuck.
Yeah.
I have a buddy from high school. His name is Mike Tedesco. He has his own contracting company, Mike Tedesco Contracting. And I've known this kid since 9th grade. We played football together. And, after high school, I really didn't know, we didn't keep in that much touch, but I started following his Instagram, and I started seeing that he's just doing like amazing work. He's doing very, very great contracting work. And we wanted to get a drop ceiling put in, so I hit him up. Very affordable. And I was absolutely blown away by him as a business person, with the accessibility for me to be able to just ask questions, and him to give his opinions and his answers, and like kind of how to what's better, like what he would do. And like I just respect that, because it's like that dude doesn't have to like take the time to talk to me about things, but he really has like
and
a passion.
He worked with all of our ideas, and
100%.
We didn't want like a traditional drop ceiling look like your local VFW. Like we wanted something that looked homey and cozy.
We didn't want it to look like the Boston Spectrum.
Right, exactly. So we opted for a tile that was just slightly more elevated than your regular like styrofoam looking drop ceiling, and it makes a world of a difference.
And then we had 2 fluorescents down there, or not fluorescents, but they looked like they were
lights.
LEDs.
Yeah.
But they looked like fluorescents, but they were a white, like sterile, weird color kind of.
And they weren't like, they were long and skinny like
Yeah.
fluorescents, and it just wasn't right.
But we got those taken out, and we've got 14 LED lights put in there. So
They're all recessed.
They're on a dimmer.
Yeah.
You know, it's just really like a life changing, vibe down there.
It's really beautiful.
And Mike did impeccable work. His Instagram is at MikeTed525, and he doesn't have like a business Instagram or anything like that. He just has a a personal Instagram, but he has a lot of his work posted on there, befores and afters. But I have his information on my Instagram at I'll Call You Right Back. You can go on there and swipe over, and his business card is on there. But you could, he does free estimates. If you're looking for contracting work, like, I highly recommend him because...
Yeah, and he works with great people. He had a couple people come in and help him.
He was just a really good guy.
Yeah,
and
just a good person to work with.
I just really enjoy, I talked about this, I've talked about this on here with like small businesses and everything, but it's like, I feel that it's like super important to try to keep as much money into like, our community and like the local people that are doing great things, especially if you know them.
Yeah.
And like, don't get it twisted. I'm an Amazon fiend. I feel shitty about it. I try to buy less and less off of Amazon, but it's just so easy. But like, I try to do what I can to keep it local. And I'm telling you, Mike did a wonderful job. But again, at MikeTed525. And check out his work because it's really, really nice.
Yep.
But
looking forward to working on some other projects.
Absolutely, babe. But I don't know. So overall, though, on stress level, I want to know what your stress level has been. Being, kind of the head dog around here during the day.
My stress level, I think.
Should have just saw Antonette's look.
Every time she moves, it like makes me nervous.
I know.
But that's the thing, like, I was not used to keeping tabs on anything all day long.
Yeah.
Until now, like, I wouldn't even really give a shit what I was doing all day long, and to have to like switch your way of thinking in a day.
Yeah.
To be immediately concerned about this animal that now lives with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's been a journey. I wouldn't say like there was never a point where I was like, I can't do this and we're just not going to keep the dog anymore. Like, I understand that, we just have a lot to work on, and my stress level will improve as the more she gets trained, and 100%. We just have to be patient with her.
And deal with the long days of her, just dicking around outside while we're waiting for her to shit.
Man. Because she looks at every leaf that blows down that road. It is ridiculous.
Me and Antonette.
But also, to be fair, we got her when there was all snow on the ground.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hit the thing. There was absolutely nothing for her to sniff around at the time because like there was like a foot of snow on the ground. And then we got more snow like over the next week or so.
Yeah.
So I think too, she was learning how to potty train in the snow. And
it's kind of thrown her off.
It's definitely thrown her off now that there's grass and leaves and things for her to smell and see, and it's all very. It's just
a whole new
now.
world for her. But I think it's so funny because I was out there today and Antonette was like, oh, she didn't poop, and it's like, I kind of get what it's like for parents to be like, oh, I just wanted to potty train. And it's like, I feel so fulfilled whenever the dog shits outside and pisses and shits outside. Mm-hmm. It makes me happy. So I'll take the dog outside and I'll just be sitting there and I'll look in the window
to help with the potty training, because you only allow her to go to the bathroom once she's done from her nap. And then, like she'll be good for the next round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next round of hell. But it's like you take her out and, I'll
but
just
you can control it better.
Yeah, I get it. But I'll just look in the window and I'll just see Antonette laughing at me.
That's like my favorite thing.
While I'm standing outside.
From like the first day that we got her and we both like had to be standing out there in the blizzard and she just wasn't doing anything outside, and she was just walking around in circles, like playing with the snow. Hated the snow.
Hated it.
Hated the snow.
Well, she only hated it for a little bit. Then she liked it.
Yeah, I think she'll get better as she gets bigger, but her little paws were probably so cold.
But I would sit out there and if Nadja would squat down and take her shit, I would look back to the window and we would both be just dancing. Poop dance. It was the poop dance because we would both be so excited because if
it's
she
not
shit,
in my living room. That's why I'm excited.
If she shit, it's funny because I get this anxiety anytime Antonette texts me in the daytime now because, if I see Antonette Maria Russo texted me 4 times, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, that dog's probably attacking her. She's probably losing her mind. She's probably freaking out. But then it'll either be like, a cute picture of her or just
a puddle of piss next to the back door.
Or just a puddle of piss or a shit in the house. And you'll just be like, you'll just send me a picture of her shit. And I'm just like, ugh. And, I
don't think I sent her a picture of poop or sent you a picture of poop, did I?
Oh, yeah. There was definitely a poop right there because it said, I guess I could go about my business now that she's
empty. The tank is empty.
But it's like, I just want to acknowledge that I appreciate everything that you do here and your day to day here because you've really been putting in a good bit of work. Because I've been working. It's like I try to take over the slack like whenever I get home, but during the day, I wake up in the morning, I take her to piss at like 5:30 in the morning, then I throw her in bed with Antonette, and then she's just the cutest snuggle bug.
She's a little cuddle bug for like the next 2.5 hours. She just loves it.
A switch gets flipped and she starts getting buck wild. Oh, the laundry basket ripping out of there, all this ripping out of there, coming after your feet, and
going
it's
after your computer wires, everything.
And it got to be stressful with work, and I just thought that I would say that I appreciate you doing that.
I love you.
I love you too, and I think this was a good episode of the podcast.
Taking care of the dog this weekend, so I could have one night out.
Yeah,
and not. Lose my mind.
Yeah,
because
and that was
the dog's
great.
making me crazy.
We were just being cozy and snuggling, but
I think she's ready to get out of the crate now. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. All right,
was
so
a good episode. I agree.
I think it was important. It's important because this dog is a huge part of our life. There's definitely going to be more episodes of me talking about my dog.
Yeah.
Just don't listen to him if you don't want to, but. I feel like a lot of people have animals and tons
of people have animals.
It's relatable because, we thought one thing, and we got the other, but we're adapting. We're just, enjoying our time and really trying to, everything she does is cute. She's laying on her back right now, just dicking around.
Yeah. Well, finally she's playing with something in the crate because she didn't acknowledge anything in the crate before.
Yeah.
She was so stressed.
Stressful for sure. But
it might be time for her to potty.
You think?
Now that she's
okay.
awake.
Thank you for sitting down and talking with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Everyone else that's listening, a lot of very important things coming up. We got very good episodes. Like I said, I apologize for any sort of delay in episodes, and I apologize for the sound quality of the last episode. And, that was, I'm just rolling with the punches. The studio is going to be done soon enough. I know I've been talking about it for a while. Ceiling's done. All I got to do is paint now.
What did Matt Christie say? Don't apologize for improvement.
Don't apologize for improvement.
Yeah.
Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but for real, you're getting yourself into an entirely new space, and it's going to be a different level than you've ever had. And
I know, but I get
it's going to be great.
I get I make myself sick. Last week, I took a week off for the podcast because we were getting that studio done, but it makes me sick whenever I don't put a podcast out. It's I feel like that I don't know. I feel like I'm just letting
not being productive,
letting people down, because I
think that people understand.
I get it, and I get
moving
that.
on up.
I get that, but I also am a podcast listener, so whenever I'm wanting to see a new episode of Theo Vaughn or Tiger Belly, and I go on there and it's not there, I'm just fuck. I'm just damn, I wanted to listen to that this week. And I know that there's people that enjoy the podcast, so I appreciate everyone as usual. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast if you would be so kind. I got some new designs back. Merch will be coming soon. I'm going to have some coffee coming out soon. And, I'm just excited to be a dog dad. I'm excited to be a dog parent with you.
Me too. It's fun.
All right, well, we're going to take our dog out. Hopefully she shits, and then, we'll see you next week. So thanks for listening, and I'll call you right back.